Hello friends, today's topic is paying off debt. Let's rant.
I was on low-income subsidized housing for 7 years until I realized that was not a life that I wanted to live. That low-income subsidized housing was meant for me to get on my feet. That was not a lifelong journey for me. And that's exactly what I did. I went to school. I started my business. I worked 2 to 3 jobs. I strived. I made more income. I tried to enhance my skills, and I got off of low-income housing. I did not want to raise my daughter in the hood. Flat out. I did not want to raise my daughter in the hood. And just to be clear, my rent was never free. It was subsidized, okay? It went up over time. As I made more income, my rent went up. So my rent went from like $255 to $500 something dollars to $900 something dollars, then to like $1,000 something dollars. My rent was never free. It was always subsidized. I had to realize I didn't want to use the government as a blanket. Oh, well, if I lose my job or if I lose income or if I kept tricking myself to saying, well, this is a security blanket. I know I'll always be okay even if I have it and I can live here and pay market rent, anything can happen and I'll still have my apartment. No, I had to get rid of that mind frame. That was a welfare mind frame. As a birthday gift to my daughter when she turned 7, I literally gave her the keys to our new place in the suburbs and we started a new life for ourselves. And it was all because of Mitchie cleaning. It was all because of me too, but it was because of I started a business that gave me more income. I still had worked a full-time job. I was working a full-time job and ran my business full-time. So mama grinded. But Mitchie cleaning just opened a whole different light for me. It showed me, hey sis, like, don't limit yourself. You could do anything. Because I tell you guys all the time, like, I fell into being a business owner. Like, I just was trying to clean houses to earn some extra money and it turned into a full-time business. Like, this was a mistake. Well, not a mistake. It was God's plan. But not a mistake. It was God's plan. But at that time, I didn't know. So now I am off to the next stage in my life. I want to buy a home. And I'm giving myself until next year to purchase a home. And I am using TikTok to help me purchase a home. So if this video comes up on your For You page, make sure that you like it, repost it, follow me. This is a journey, a lifelong journey. And I want to bring you guys with me, okay? And if this is the first time that you are on my For You page, hi, my love. I love y'all, but let me go back into Home Depot so I can finish this big job that we're doing right now. Bye, y'all.
How to get out of debt if you have low income. Hi, my name is Krista. My husband and I paid off over $80,000 worth of debt in just over 2 years. And here are some ways that you too can pay off debt even if you have low income. First off, you're going to want to assess your debt. Make a list of all of it. Come up with a total. How much debt are you in? 2, create a budget. I know I've said this before, but it is so important. Create that budget. Find out how much debt you have, where your money's all going to, how much income you have coming in. From a budget, you can also assess, are there any things that you can eliminate? Do you have memberships, subscriptions, whatever? Can you get rid of them? Eliminate as much debt as possible right off the beginning. Set a goal. You need a payoff goal, and make it measurable. If you do not have a pay-up goal, you have nothing that is like pushing you to pay anything off quickly, set a goal. When do you want to be out of debt? Do you want to be out of debt the next year, by the end of the year, in 2 years? Set a goal, make it measurable, break it down, make it manageable and not as overwhelming by determining how much debt you need to pay off per month. Number 4, choose a repayment strategy. We use the snowball method. We listed our debts, largest to smallest. We started throwing all of our extra money at our smallest debt and we would pay them off. We would knock them off quickly and work our way to the top. We always made our minimum payment on all of our debt. And then we would throw anything extra at our lowest debt that we owed at the time. Number 5, if you do not have enough money to make a minimum payment on your debt and pay extra money towards the smallest debt or however debt repayment program you're doing, you need to make more money. You need to increase your income. You need to get a second job, a side hustle. You need to figure out something, sell things, donate, plasma, watch dogs. I don't care what it is. Figure out how to make more money. Number 6, we did not do this, but I know this is going to be really important right now with the way things are. Renegotiate interest rates. Student loans, all-time high. Try to reconsolidate those loans. If you are not able to pay off enough of your debt, making the minimum payment Like if your minimum payment is not allowing you to make any headway on that debt, and that debt keeps getting higher and higher every single month, then you need to renegotiate those interest rates. Utilize debt repayment tools. There's apps, there are podcasts, there are support groups, there are all kinds of things out there. Check it out, get on social media, ask questions, use Pinterest, use the internet, use ChatGPT. I don't care what it is. Find some tools that work for you. Number 8, stay committed. This is not easy. It is not going to be easy. It is not going to be quick. You got yourself into this, you can get yourself out of it, and you have to stay committed to the plan. Do not go out there and, 6 months into it, get sick and tired of living a minimal lifestyle, not going out to the bars, not going out to fancy restaurants. You got yourself into this. You can make some sacrifices and you can get out of this debt. Celebrate those wins. When you do pay off a credit card, celebrate it. Again, I don't mean go on a trip. I don't mean go out to a fancy dinner, but find some way to celebrate it for yourself. It is such an accomplishment to pay off a credit card or a loan, and you guys can do it. I know you can. Stay committed to the plan. It is going to work. It is totally worth it, and you got it. All right, bye.
Here's how you're going to start paying off the debt, even if you have a low income. Americans are in more debt than they've ever been, and everyone's got finances and debt on their mind, especially during the holidays. Now, there's 3 different ways that you can do this. Most people have heard of the first 2, but I guarantee the majority have not heard of the third. So starting off with the snowball method, this is Dave Ramsey. You take all of your debts, you lay them out, and tackle the one with the lowest balance. You're going to pay all of your minimum payments on every single debt that you have, except for the one with the lowest balance. You're going to pay extra towards that one. You get to pay off debt quicker, and so it builds momentum and motivation to tackle the rest. Second is the avalanche method. This is where you look at all of your debt and you tackle the one with the highest interest rate, because over time, by paying off that one faster, you're going to save more money over the long run. Now, the third one is unique and can be a little bit risky. So if you're going to tackle this, you have to be very disciplined. And this is the zero cash flow method. This is where when you get paid, you put all of your income into the credit card that has the most debt. Here's how this works. You keep all of your money in there until you have to take care of your mandatory needs and expenses like groceries, gas, bills, that sort of thing. But you only use it when you need to pay towards your mandatory bills. What it does is it pays down that credit card with all of your income. And so you're going to be very mindful of taking any money back off of that credit card, because you're going to want to keep that balance low. This is going to encourage you from spending more money on that credit card because you're trying to keep that balance low.
Here's how you're going to pay off debt even if you have a low income. And this method will work if you have low income, high income, whatever income. You just need to have some income. The most important thing is to come up with a strategy and execute it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write out all of your debts. List everything that you owe. You want to include the balance that you owe, the due date, and the minimum monthly payment. The next thing you're going to do is create a realistic budget. And if you're not sure how to do that, let me know in the comments, or you can go back and look at some of my previous videos where I go into detail about how to do that. Once you create that budget, you're going to figure out how much extra money you have to put towards these minimum payments. Because let me just keep it a buck with you. If you only pay the minimum, you're going to be in debt forever. Once you figure out how much extra you can put towards your debt payoff, you're going to come up with a strategy, either using the snowball method or the avalanche method. Now that you figured out how much extra you have to put towards your debt repayment, you're going to execute your plan and you're going to be consistent with it. And once that first debt is paid off, you're going to roll that extra money into the next debt, and so on and so forth until everything is done. See, easy peasy. And that is how you get out of debt regardless of your income.
Pay off your debt as quickly as possible. And if you have massive amount of school and credit card debt, good luck to you, because it's going to be hard. Plus having to pay your other bills. Comment down below and tell me what you think. Until next time, bye.